Hello world, I'm still alive. People have wanted me to do these YouTube videos for God knows how many years. I ignored them because I thought everything was fine on Twitter and X, but we all know how that turned out. So here I am. Many of you probably knew me as Crab Crawler, but if you've been around long enough, you knew I was just a normal guy with an account called NickMon1112. Back in those days, I was just, a modest news gatherer who happened to be the first to a lot of breaking things. And that's what actually got me in trouble, because I was one of the first people to the New Zealand story, and then Twitter decided after the fact that nobody's allowed to talk about that. So I started to get on Twitter's bad side. Yep, even though local news stations cited my threads when it came to that story, I ended up being heavily censored, and I've been on the shit end of the stick ever since. And I was really starting to get into my prime back then. I was doing interviews and actually gotten onto a local Fox News affiliate because of the Jussie Smollett story. My thread was just that good. And when it came to why my original account got banned, I don't even remember what happened. It was just some sort of Antifa-related story. I was never even given a full reason. Ever since then, I can tell you that the only social media platforms worth their salt are Gab and Minds when it comes to alternatives. It becomes impossible to juggle so many different things. And then Gitter was just like the pick-me girl who wanted Trump to sign up and he never did. And then Truth Social is just where Trump hangs out, so that can only go so far, really. Anyway, when it comes to Twitter and X, I'm willing to agree to whatever terms they want to allow me back. I just want my community. I built up two different communities, one with 47,000 followers and one with 35,000. And it feels like I've had that stolen from me twice now. And I'm not some sort of active troublemaker. The Crab Crawler ban only happened because of the Tate Brothers story, and Ella Irwin decided to entertain the mass reports of that crowd to get me booted. And then, since then, I've been in purgatory since Ella Irwin resigned, and no one else has taken her place. And instead, he's been busy gutting entire departments related to that. He's laid off trust and safety staff, and he's totally removed that election integrity squad. What I assume happened is that whatever staff is left over there just look at whatever Ella Irwin wrote and decided to stay the course indefinitely. It's a bad system because that formula can be flipped on its head. I'm just stuck in an endless loop of band evasion bans, which in itself creates a scenario where I can indefinitely make accounts forever, get banned forever, over and over again for that, and I don't learn anything. I wouldn't learn anything because I could just say I'm a victim of the system. It would be much better if I'm allowed back and to take whatever accountability, whatever is necessary for me to do to get back in people's good graces. I mean, how can people atone for mistakes in this kind of system? There's no room for compromise or allowed to becoming a better person whatsoever. People only remember the bad things, but they forget that time that I stopped someone who faked having cancer and grifted $50,000 or something like that from people. I find it ironic that Elon says he welcomes citizen journalists on X, but they're not. Even beyond my case, there's a growing number of people who think the platform is still suppressing them. I see it every day. I mean, I'm a strong believer in his message, and when he bought X, I bought into that all the way in. Freedom of speech as long as it doesn't break any laws. And I'm not any criminal. In fact, Elon Musk is so welcoming that he's allowing a man accused of human trafficking to continue being on the platform. All I've had is a speeding ticket once, 3 or 4 years ago now. I mean, I would have paid more attention to rebuilding my social media presence if I wasn't busy working on that whole BBC documentary. I mean, I'll probably dedicate more videos in the future to talking about all that, but given the extent of the War Room chat logs, that took months, and it was hard work. I basically I was way over my head, and it was really traumatizing. Yeah. This whole year made me a bit more bitter, seeing people that I thought I knew ignore the story, and it was a complete letdown. I mean, sure, some of these people had families to worry about, but there are people in positions of power, editors-in-chief, and people in positions of authority whose responsibility was to talk about the story and do better. I'll admit my mistake thinking that the story was cut and dry enough that I thought other people understood that. But it's not all doom and gloom. I have to thank people like Brittany Venti and other people online who understood that the story was important and have been humoring me as I go throughout this rigorous process of trying to find my way back in the world again. I mean, I myself have criticized mainstream media for nearly a decade now, and it was incredibly weird for me to be in this inverted position where they were the only ones willing to give the Tate story a look. It made me question everything. I think people are too entrenched in this culture wars mentality that they're willing to overlook stories of major significance that really step beyond all that. I mean, it's the only comfort I have is knowing I tried my best getting the story out to the public. And I plan to dump many, many more chat logs. They'll go heavy into the webcam stuff and show how both Andrew and Tristan played major parts throughout everything. But even then, there's still major elements of the story elsewhere, including more of the money and politics sides of things that'll require even more time to investigate. And I can guarantee you that there are elements of that part of everything that will take off members of the right wing. I mean, the fact that Andrew Tate knows Trump Jr. and Alex Jones, stuff like that. But I'm trying to be helpful. I try not to be too serious about things. I like movies, shit posting. I'm a big fan of dogs. I'm not some sort of big political activist. I just wanted to follow the story as far as it goes. When it comes to this YouTube channel, I'll try and make it into a news thing, I guess, but I'll try and experiment it with it all as well to try and find a style that I like. The point of it now is just to remind you all that I exist. After spending the last year cooped up with this one story, I had to basically relearn how to interact with people. And with this nice higher chair, I'm off to a good start. The biggest thing I got going on right now is I'm finally playing through Bloodborne. That's all for now. I guess I'll do whatever YouTuber does. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, and then whatever the reminder bell is. And stay tuned for more to come.